Who is the best real estate brokerage to work for? NavX Realty is not right for everyone, and I'm here to tell you about it. Hi, I'm Lydia, Rowe, a realtor here in Tipp City, Ohio, and I have had the honor of experiencing several great brokerages in this area. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 honest observations about the company after being at NavX for about a year and a half. But first, I'm going to give you a little background. Now, I know that a lot of agents simply don't have time to interview every brokerage and find out about every compensation plan or work culture. And so often you find yourself just plugging along in whatever brokerage that you started with because you're busy and it works and you feel a certain loyalty. And I get that. Other agents have switched brokerages before and it was a big pain. And the thought of doing that again makes you feel sick, even though you aren't super happy where you are. Still others get itchy every few years and brokerage hop, thinking that it's the brokerage's fault that your business isn't doing well. I'm sure there are other categories, but those are the big ones. Here's a quick breakdown of my brokerage journey this far. I started at Century 21, the Gene Group, when I first got my license, quickly moved from there to Keller Williams Hometown Realty, where I stayed for over a year. I decided to take a risk and join a few friends who were starting a brokerage under eXp Realty, and finally I landed at NavX Realty about a year and a half ago. I don't have time in this video to talk in detail about my reasons for moving each time, but if you want to catch up on that story, you can watch this video, which talks about why I left KW, and this one, which tells about why I switched to NavX. Now, I created that one about NavX right when I switched, and in it, I said that time would tell whether what I thought about NavX at the time was legit and would really hold up. After being here over a year, I feel qualified to tell you about my observations and to let you know why it may or may not be right for you. I boiled it down to 3 features that are pretty unique to NavX and certainly are not for everyone. And I'll get to that in just a bit. For me, every switch I've made has been a calculated business decision. I left Century 21 because I realized I needed more freedom in my business and I wasn't going to be happy just following someone else's game plan, even if it was an excellent plan. I realized I probably just need to make my own mistakes. I left Keller Williams when I realized that I was building my business very differently than the coaching and the models that they could provide. And so I couldn't justify paying 26% of my commissions for a brand, a great looking office, and some incredible people. That one was hard because I did and still do love a lot of folks at that office, and I love it when we get to do transactions together. eXp offered a cap that was $10,000 lower and had the potential to build some residual income through market share and stocks and pretty much that multi-level marketing where you make a percentage off of your downline. That cap difference alone was enough, along with the idea of getting in on the ground floor of a new brokerage with some friends. I was only at eXp for a few months, but that's not because of anything on their end, but because the main reason for joining was saving more money on my commissions. And when NavX came into view with a $4,200 cap at the time, it was a no-brainer in regards to the financial aspect of my business. I knew I'd save money, but would I still have the support that I wanted? Was the culture that they talked about actually legit? What about the leads program and compliance process? These were things that only time could tell, and I tend to be optimistically skeptical. Is that a thing? Here's one thing that I've noticed in my hunt for the best brokerage. Every single brokerage that I've interviewed with, and I've interviewed with a lot of brokerages around here, every single one talks about how they are like family, how they're different because of their family culture. They also talk about how great their technology is, that it's the best, how their CRM is better than others, and how you get more bang for your buck with them. So I take that kind of language with a grain of salt. If everyone has it or claims that they have it, then it's not really a standout benefit, right? So in my tenure at NavX Realty so far, what have been my observations that might help you determine whether it's right for you or not? What are a few things that actually are unique to NavX? Without further delay, here's my top 3. Number 1, open hand culture. Now, there are some wonderful people at all the brokerages that I've been a part of, and I have many to thank for pouring into me and sharing their insight, and teaching me skills and sharing their tips and tricks. But I have also observed in this industry a lot of holding back, a lot of fear, a lot of competition and envy and dishonesty and backbiting. Now, people are people, and we are a people business, so no brokerage can claim or say that none of that ever happens because you can't control everyone. However, I will say that one thing that has very much impressed me and stood out at NavX Realty is the consistency of which the culture of holding an open hand is spoken about and practiced. What does this mean? It means I hold what I have loosely and open. It means if I have learned something or found something that works, I'm willing to share it with others in the brokerage. It means putting your money where your mouth is when it comes to talking about an abundant mindset, that there is enough business to go around, and helping someone else succeed is part of my success. It means viewing my fellow agents as part of a team that we're on together and working towards the same goals and helping our clients and growing as agents instead of looking at them as competition. It means that when the monthly list comes out of the top sales agents and a new agent that I've been able to help is higher than me, that is just as much of a win for me than if I was at the top. This mindset and this culture fuels good relationships, and it helps us be like iron sharpening iron. It is absolutely normal to feel protective of your proprietary creative materials and processes. But at NavX, the standard is to go against that natural instinct and instead to share freely and with an open hand. Does that mean that if you don't want to share, you can't be an agent at NavX? No, of course not. But being an agent with NavX will challenge you to let go of that scarcity mindset and that me against everyone vibe, and to find success and freedom in an open market where ideas and strategies and systems and materials that are working are shared and helping the team as a whole, not just you. That lead source that no one else seems to know about, those hours you spent learning how to market on social media, or learning great scripts for expired listings, or buyer and seller presentations, or that fantastic CPA that you have, or how to get into that new build game. If you have something that someone else can benefit from, do you have to share it? Of course not. But there are many opportunities at NavX for you to share those things and help everyone improve together. Most of the training opportunities provided are just that, and they have been so helpful. Maybe this would be natural for you to step into, or maybe it would be a challenge. But if this kind of environment doesn't appeal to you, then NavX might not be the best brokerage for you. The next thing that has stood out to me about NavX, number 2, innovation. This is a smaller startup company. It's only been around for a few years. And with that comes its own set of pros and cons. When I first joined, they pitched a leads program that worked when there was only 30 people in the company, but was not able to be sustained as we grew. That program has shifted and changed several times, and I anticipate it continuing to shift and change. I never did receive any leads, despite going through the trainings and doing my part. So that was a bit of a disappointment and a bummer. I have not rejoined the program since they revamped it, but that's mostly because I have plenty of leads already, and I'm not a big fan of leads outside of relationship anyway. Some agents have had great success with it though, so if that's something that you're looking for, I can get you in touch with folks who know a lot more about that than me. Now, I know that all of that sounds pretty negative with the changes and the failures, but here's the thing. There aren't very many brokerages who even are trying to develop programs like this, or they charge a bunch of money for it. The fact that NavX is willing to stick its neck out there and develop new programs is something I have definitely observed. Since I've joined, they have switched CRMs, and they're probably going to switch again. They want to add the most value to their agents while sticking at that $99 a month fee. They have developed the new leads program, which has been much more successful. They have offered many classes and are now starting to offer a lot of free CE classes as well on actually relevant and helpful subjects. They have opened an office in North Dakota, somewhere out there, and they plan to continue to expand in other states and areas. They have opened multiple market centers here in the Dayton area of Ohio. We're over 100 agents at this point. They have developed partnerships with vendors who provide group discounts and have created joint ventures and are rolling out a program that will allow market centers and agents to buy shares of those ventures. Now, a lot of brokerages have those joint ventures and they profit from their agents using certain title or mortgage companies, but it's much less common to actually pass along this benefit to the individual agents, all while continuing to keep industry low caps. I have another video that talks all about the money that I'll link in the description, so I'm not going to talk that much on this one, although it's huge. But the NavX cap now is at $5,400 a year. In other words, once the brokerage has made $5,400 off your commission shares, you don't pay them anymore for that year. There's also a $75 per transaction fee for compliance. That alone saved me $10,000 a year from EXP and over $20,000 a year from KW. I get to now use that extra $1,000 to $2,000 per month to put back into my business however I want to. And both those companies that I mentioned have caps. Just imagine if you're with a company that doesn't have caps, like Sipsy Klein, for example. How much money are you leaving on the table? If you're a high producer, probably leaving enough to pay a full-time admin assistant. But I don't want to talk about money right now. One last thing on this point, our CEO, Mark Peebles, is a beast when it comes to research and staying ahead of the curve. When all of that stuff came down around the NAR settlement, we had been talking and strategizing for months at NavX. It was not a shock. We were well prepared and even more informed than some of our local MLS boards. And with something like this that is changing the industry as we speak, being somewhere that can pivot easily has been very advantageous. There has been so much encouragement and support in new ways of doing things. I've been so impressed with the confidence level, the research, and the execution of multiple innovations since I've been here. For some folks, innovation is scary, and for most people, it's a little uncomfortable at least. If you like the idea of being part of an innovative company, even if that means some hiccups along the way and some pivoting, then NavX might be a good fit. But if you hate change, you're probably going to be happier staying where you are. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about that I've observed at NavX that could be a plus or a minus for you is the fact that top values actually have nothing to do with real estate. It's a real estate brokerage who cares more about other things than real estate. For real. Let me explain. My first question to Mark, the founder of our company, back when I was thinking about making the switch was, what the heck is NavX? Like, it's a weird name, right? And he immediately said something like, oh, well, it encompasses our value of helping people navigate to the right place. Like X marks the spot on a map, and we as a company aim to help folks navigate to the right place, to their X, to their next right move. And what I found is that that goes not for just us as agents helping our clients, but also the brokerage helping us as agents, and also us helping each other. Here's the core principles at NavX. And just to warn you, they are based on biblical values, but there is certainly no expectations that you need to believe in God to be an agent here. The purpose is stated as this: to honor God in all that we do and inspire our agents and company stakeholders to discover their God-given purpose. Okay, so that's about your purpose as a person. The vision for NavX is stated to be a company full of world changers who happen to work in real estate. The mission of NavX is building relationships that move people. And the values are serve, care, and give. Now, when first coming on, I have to admit, although I resonated with all of these, I was optimistically skeptical. I've been a part of companies before that give lip service to these kinds of values, but look much different in practice. But here's what I've observed at NavX so far. I attended the X Plan, which is a training course that they run a few times a year. I had attended coaching and training at other brokerages I was a part of, and I figured it would be very similar. Boy, was I wrong. Now, I don't want to ruin this for anyone who hasn't gone and plans to, but spoiler alert, it's hardly about real estate at all. It's about your life. It's about living your best life. It's about priorities. And if anything, it encouraged me to invest less into my business than I had been doing and more into my family and my ministry. NavX doesn't really profit on its agent success. With a 5,400 cap, almost every agent caps. So if you produce 1 million, 20 million, or 100 million, NavX makes the same amount of money. This puts their money where their mouth is on these purpose, vision, and mission and value statements. They truly care about me as a person and my success in life, not my success as an agent. They care about that too, but only as it aligns with my goals and my priorities. They're never going to sit down with me and tell me that I should be making more. Now, does that mean that they're not going to help push and hold me accountable if I do have big dreams and goals for my real estate business? No. They offer mentoring programs, business prep, and all the things that brokerages do with that. But because I know that they aren't making any more money when I succeed, I know that their motivations are pure, and that's a big deal to me. If you want the kind of leadership that is constantly pushing you to do more, and you thrive when someone is riding your tail to get your numbers up, then NavX might not be the best brokerage for you. We care more about you than your numbers. And one more thing on this point, I've observed values being lived out in multiple ways through generosity of time, prioritizing relationship over profit, and serving the community in real and tangible ways. Our agents have served in prisons and soup kitchens, and just recently put together a team of 15 to go to North Carolina and serve in one of the worst areas hit by the recent flooding. Those who couldn't go in person raised money and donations for the team to take to make an impact, even if a small one, on people recovering their communities in North Carolina. No one is gaining anything from this. It's not just for a photo shoot or publicity. It's truly out of a heart that cares for the world and wants to make a difference, and do it together. So whether you're already an agent or you're thinking of becoming one, my point in creating this video today is pretty clear and straightforward. I have no motivation for getting you to switch to NavX Realty. In fact, it's probably in my best interest to keep it small so that I can stay on the leaderboard and get more attention. But I am a big believer in sharing knowledge, and I have grown in the last few years to be pretty passionate about our industry and the need for reform. And if you are an excellent agent, full of integrity and skill, who actually puts your clients above yourself, like we're supposed to do, and isn't afraid of helping others succeed, and aren't intimidated by people who excel in areas that you need growth in, and if you have other passions besides real estate that you maybe even care about more than real estate, things like family, public service, ministry, then I want you to be introduced to a company that makes an excellent partner for realtors like you. If you want to talk more about joining NavX Realty, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with the right folks. My contact info is in the description. And if this video is a big reason that you make the switch, I'd be grateful if you put my name down as your referral, or if another NavX agent sent you this video, put their name down. NavX does offer a referral benefit, and every bit helps, right? And no, we don't get a percentage of your business or downline. It's just a little bonus if and when you cap, and you'll get the same thing if you bring someone in. Also, you might find this video way after this is relevant, but my friend Katrisa is opening a Tipp City office. So if you're in or around the Tipp City area, we'd love to give you a place at the table here. If you're in an area NavX is not yet, and you have the capacity and desire to start something, don't write it off. As I mentioned before, innovation is a value, and at the very least, possibilities will be explored. If you're interested in more details about my journey as an agent so far, watch these next.